was Gavaskar, the real master. Just like a wall, we couldn't know Gavaskar at all. Not at all. You know the West Indies couldn't know Gavaskar at all.
Stop fiddling around with it. We wasted enough time putting on a bloody shirt. Not that anyone cares. Could have been shirtless for this.
That would have been a proper comeback for Ian, showing up shirtless.
I know.
What a nice welcome back. What a nice welcome back. Yeah?
Welcome to the No Balls Cricket Podcast. This is episode 27. And on the 27th episode, it is only fitting that the man born on the 27th is here. The coward. He's arrived finally.
The coward is back.
Rocking my red shirt in support of the West Indies. No.
He's retired now.
It works. Sid's wearing blue in support of India. I'm wearing black to mark the death of cricket because Australia won a tournament. So, it's all very good.
Not just won a tournament. The two things that he despises more than anything are Australia winning, A, and David Warner winning anything. And Australia won, and David Warner won Player of the Tournament.
I know it was a very traumatic Sunday for me.
It's been a dark Sunday in Devrat's world. Anyway, I'm Siddharth Pradhan. That's Aditya Devrat, in case you guys don't already know. And the third one underneath all of us is the coward, Dr. Ian Jagan. He's finally arrived, or reappeared rather, from the middle of nowhere.
Finally arrived because Diwali is over and I'm free.
Listen, the last time you were...
Listen, we need to clarify. The last time you were supposed to come on, all that happened was that West Indies lost, and then 10 minutes later,
No.
disappeared.
Let me tell you guys exactly what happened, right?
No one wants to hear this explanation. We don't care.
Ian, nobody cares about the truth. We live in a world of narratives. The narrative is
The narrative is far greater than anything that Michael Vaughan said, which in itself is a narrative. On that very happy note, it's time to go into the roundup. Mr. Devrat, take it away.
Oh man, I thought we'd give Ian even more stick first.
We have a whole episode to give him stick for. Carry on.
The roundup. Well, in case anyone has been hiding under a rock, which I wish I had been actually, Australia won the T20 World Cup, beating New Zealand in the final. New Zealand having yet another heartbreak of a loss in an ICC tournament.
The only heartbreak is the look on his face right now.
Yo, this is not right. This is not right. Huh? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think India made it too much further than the West Indies, right? Am I right?
We also weren't hang on, we'll get there. But also, we also weren't defending champions with the greatest T20 side ever assembled.
Well, yeah, whatever bars we need to trade about West Indies.
That we'll get there.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Good.
I did. We did only record like 4 days ago, so it is not, or 3 days ago, so there's not much to do over Roundup.
Yeah.
Bangladesh women have swept Zimbabwe women in a one-day series. The West Indies women finished off the sweep of their series against Pakistan. Not really much has happened in the last 3 days other than that. There has been an interesting rise in the senior women's ODI trophy happening in India. There's been a very interesting trend happening. A lot more non-strikers are being run out, backing up. And somehow we have survived without any crazy spirit of cricket debates ensuing from that.
So it's because the BCCI doesn't believe that women's cricket in India exists. That's why it's happening.
That's probably why it's happening.
I'm pretty sure this is the only podcast that reported such an event or such events. Go No Balls, go!
Yeah, if you're not following women's cricket on Twitter, you just don't know that all this controversy has happened in India. The best part is actually that none of it has been controversial. People have been run out and then they just, no one's been talking about it.
Anyway, another update. Tomorrow is the actual hearing, the parliamentary hearing for the Yorkshire Azim Rafiq thing. That is going to be big because in the last week or so, a lot more players have come out, including today Adil Rashid, who said that
That was big.
That was pretty big, yeah.
Adil Rashid basically confirming all the allegations. Well, can't say all the allegations, but confirming that what was said about Michael Vaughan being part of the racism towards Azim Rafiq was true. So, I mean, I don't think Michael Vaughan's responded to it. Michael Vaughan, I think, is a lot more concerned about the fact that he has to share space with Australian former cricketers during the Ashes than any of this. So,
no, he's been defended by Piers Morgan and he still has a job with Fox.
Yeah, exactly. That Fox is what I was thinking.
Brain dead organizations.
Defended by Piers Morgan is probably the easiest way to know that he's shitty. So.
Anyway, so that's the latest Yorkshire updates. We will quickly swing into our main stuff. Let's unpack what has happened over the last 3 weeks or so in the World T20.
Yes. Ian, you want to tell us about what happened with the West Indies?
Let's start with the defending champions.
It was just a bad tournament. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, bad team selection overall, and the guys just didn't string together good performances to really allow us to rally and come through.
So here's my question: which was worse, the Martin Guptill's innings in the final, or Lendl Simmons' infamous go slow inning during the Super 12?
Dude, the best meme around is Lendl Simmons in Test match clothing walking off after the inning. I don't know what happened to Lendl in that game, but quite sad, yeah.
I mean, he's definitely not the only reason the West Indies absolutely.
No, of course. I'm not meaning to.
But that inning did go a long way to knocking them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was poor, right.
Okay. We should point out Martin Guptill scored 28 of 35 in the final, which was shocking. But
look, if it hadn't been for Kane Williamson's amazing 80, they would have got 117. It wouldn't have been a fun final.
Yeah.
Which it ended up being, despite the fact that David Warner basically shat on Adi's hopes and dreams.
Anyway, back to the West Indies.
Please, no.
So, quick question. Who is the bigger fossil? Chris Gayle or Ravi Rampal?
Both of which have not officially retired. We still may see them in West Indian colors.
Well, Chris Gayle wants a home send-off in Jamaica.
Yeah, dude.
He should get it as part of Stanford Superstars. Oh my God.
I think he wants to play when England are touring in January. That's his real option then.
Dude, that would be the most controversial thing if it actually happens. I mean, a lot of us, especially here in Guyana, feel that Chanderpaul wasn't given, a good opportunity, even when he was really capable of, making a spot in the Test playing 11.
Wait, we're talking about Chanderpaul now?
Yeah, no, I just feel that it would be very.
Hang on, I just understood context.
Gayle can get a farewell match, and Chanderpaul, being capable of making 11, being who he is, and he was just basically just thrown out.
Yeah, but according to the selectors, Chris Gayle is capable of making an 11, isn't he?
Dude, I have no idea.
Sorry.
Yeah. I have no idea. I can't say how we made it.
And the disappointment on this man's face is so palpable right now. It's unbelievable.
Yo, I mean, when our team actually had a few players that should have been there from the inception, Jason Holder, Akil Hussain, when those guys actually were in the playing 11, it looked so much different. Ross and Chase for that game or two at the end. you know, it would have made a difference to have them from the beginning. I don't know, all those guys, Gayle at number 3, Bravo, Russell, half fit Russell. Not sure about the selection, and I feel that's where we definitely weren't able to string together good performances and, you know, come out a little higher.
Also, Adi has a bone to pick with the West Indies, major one. Y'all are half the reason that David Warner got back into form.
Yeah, actually, that's true.
That's not a surprising thing at all. Not surprising at all. Half of the players come to the West Indies, get back in form, whether it's Test cricket, one day, really, really common. That's not surprising at all.
Yeah, and then you get bullied by shit players like Adam Voges. Sorry.
Where do you remember him from? That's so random.
I think, no, it was because I think, if I'm not mistaken, he was the oldest player on earth to make a maiden Test 100. And it was against, and it was like, yeah, he did. He retired about 3 weeks after that. And it was like, I swear to God, it was 3 weeks after that. His maiden Test 100 was like double 100 against the West Indies.
Didn't he retire with an average above 60 or something like that?
Yeah, over 4 Test matches. 2 of which were against the West Indies, 2 were against Pakistan and Australia.
No, that's a given, dude. You know, in form, you come to the West Indies and play, you definitely gonna find some form.
Exactly. But anyway,
we need to send Hardik Pandya, Rishabh Pant. There we go.
Somehow the only team that loses in the West Indies is England. Always.
Yeah.
English fans look away.
And they maybe the next time they come to the West Indies, they may be coming after being thrashed in the Ashes. That's the perfect time to play them. Actually,
perfect time.
Give Chris Gayle a farewell then. It makes total sense. He can just beat up on an already beaten up team.
This is true.
But do you think, are there any real positives you take from that tournament between like Hetmeyer and Puran's like one-off performances? Feel like there's just a lot of rejuvenation that has to be done in the squad.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there were a few, like those guys they played one good inning, 1 or 2 good innings every. Yeah, I don't know. It's really, really, really disappointing the performance that they put in. I mean, there was a lot of hype around the team and us at least making the semis. The same for India, you know, but I don't know what transpired there.
Could have been worse. You guys could have lost to Bangladesh as well.
But we didn't.
Thank your lucky stars.
Thankfully.
You will still have to qualify for the next tournament now.
That's fine.
That'll probably
we're turning the corner, right? We're team in progress. Don't worry. We're turning the corner.
Progress with a bunch of people who are like in their high 30s.
Let's just take a moment. Because that was possibly the original great T20 side.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
I mean, you look at those players and they're still the only team to have won 2 World T20 titles.
Yeah.
And as I've been corrected, it is now called the T20 World Cup repeatedly.
Dude, I mean, listen, to be honest, you have Chris Gayle. For the last 2 years, he's averaged approximately 15 runs in international T20s. 15. You know, there's absolutely no way that warranted a spot in the team and, you know, in the playing 11 for every single game. He was picked for every game.
And it's not like he's been great in franchise cricket either.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so even in the franchise cricket, as you said, he wasn't great either. So that alone shows that, you know, maybe the team was really picked mainly on just giving all of them a final, you know, final hurrah, a final farewell together, which I don't know who does that, you know, just to give them that opportunity. But I think that's definitely where we lost it.
I mean, if they really wanted to get the band back together, they could have just pulled Darren Sammy out of the commentary box.
Definitely should have. I mean,
Yeah,
the
I
way
know.
he was commentating,
Captain.
the way he was commentating, also, he deserved it.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
should have just brought him back.
We should say Chris Gayle signed off on this tournament by taking a wicket. Of all the things that could possibly happen, we
The
needed
most
a
random wicket to happen. And I mean, at the end of the game, it was all about, it was sheer laughing, and that there was no seriousness to it at all. I think you're
Anyway.
forgetting someone from the champion team,
Who am I forgetting?
the Sextillion icon,
The
Marlon
Sextillion.
Samuels.
Oh, of course, icon Marlon Samuels.
How could
Yeah,
you
but-
forget the icon?
Yeah, but didn't he get done for match fixing again?
That's
I
fine.
didn't
We
forget
can still
him.
pick him. We can still pick him. That's right.
Sextillion. Where he came up with that one?
I
don't
hashtag Sextillion.
Someone has got to explain what that actually means.
Isn't sexually just a number?
No. A number. A number. I don't.
I don't know, man.
I don't think it's just a number. We can DM the icon, find out, try and get the answer. Try and get the answer.
Okay, moving on.
How many of these players do you think are going to be back in the side next year, though, for the Australia World Cup? That's the question. Do you think it's going to be a huge change in squad, or do you think a lot of these players are going to be back?
Well, Bravo's gone for sure.
Bravo's gone for sure, but people like
Yeah,
Pollard, Russell, Holder.
The majority will stay. I think you get like 8 guys. Evan Lewis will stay. Puran, Hetmeyer, Jason Hola, Akil Hussain, O'Shane Thomas will be there.
Landell Simmons?
Lendl. I think Lendl could still make it. Yeah, I mean, let's see. Sharfian Rutherford hopefully gets a run in the team. Then there is Obaid McCoy. Yeah, I think the majority, Fabian Allen hopefully will be fit, and those guys can make
Allen
it.
hopefully will be fit. Hopefully will be picked and
Fabulous Ian.
do something for me in my fantasy team finally.
Fabulous Ian.
Yeah. I'm disappointed.
What about
in
Soldier
him,
Boy?
man. Yeah, I would pick left arm pace bowler, the Soldier. I would pick him for Australia. I think he has a good dimension, especially with a new ball, left arm quick.
Why wasn't he picked this time around?
They had to find a spot for Ravi Rampal.
Just, I swear to God. Anyway,
Right.
Sad.
before we finish off, just the last note on the West Indies. It's the first great T20 dynasty, and it's all come crumbling down like the Roman Empire.
You can continue. We don't need to pause.
I had to stop for that one. I had to appreciate my own joke. But yeah, they're the first great T20 side. And it's a shame because you're going to lose a lot of those. The first sort of set of great T20 players. We were there, me and Ian were both there the day they basically changed the template for T20 cricket. That day to Wankere. And just sad to see them go. But, father time.
Yeah, it's sad, but I mean, the time has come for them to leave. But,
Absolutely, yeah.
We got to rebuild and come again.
Yeah. Speaking of rebuilds, let's move back across to our part of the world. Where do we begin with India?
Yeah, there are some of the more like some fairly similar complaints, I guess. I think some players you have to wonder whether are they past their, is their shelf life done in terms of T20 cricket?
I was speaking to a friend today. Do you guys think India missed Shikhar Dhawan as opener batsman in the T20s?
I don't think so.
Really.
Not really. I just feel that Dhawan would have given you something very similar to what Rahul and Rohit Sharma did.
They don't really, Dhawan doesn't really accelerate that much more than Rohit Sharma does in terms of like the fast start.
So what changes would you have made? I mean, Chahal definitely, right?
First, let's go from the beginning of the tournament for the team that I would have had, first of all. If you knew Bhuvneshwar Kumar wasn't in form and you didn't want to pick him and he just looked exhausted, you'd pick Deepak Chahar in the squad to begin with. A. Secondly, I mean, Varun Chakravarti, okay, he didn't do badly, but he's not a wicket-taking bowler, and you've left out your best T20 spinner, your best limited over spinner in Yuzi Chahal for him. Chahal had to come back. Third,
Chahal should have played, but I don't.
Chahal should have played, yeah.
I think that tag of being best limited over spinner, I think he hasn't been that over the last year and a half.
Yeah, but I mean, he's still your best T20 spinner.
I mean, I can see why he was dropped. His form had suffered a bit.
Agreed. Everybody's form had suffered a bit. We weren't a great side. That was just basic.
But Varun Chakravarti hadn't. He'd been in good form leading into the tournament.
Yeah, exactly. But I know, but I just, my problem again with
no fighting, guys. No fighting, guys. No
listen, he's gonna keep having a go at this Varun Chakravarti thing. But I always go back to the same thing that I always found, that the bowlers that did really well throughout the World Cup were the ones that were picking wickets throughout. Not the ones that were just keeping the runs down.
I was shocked. I was shocked to see Bhuvneshwar Kumar in the 11. Even for his performances in the IPL for Sunrisers, it wasn't that great. So to have him in the starting 11, I was shocked to see Bhuvi. And definitely shocked to see Chahal not part of the 11 or even the squad.
Even the squad, exactly.
Those two changes for sure on my side. And I mean, the huge talking point.
Obviously, it's the back.
Hardik Pandya not bowling like he wasn't for the initial games. I mean, does he still make it there at number 6?
He's your finisher, so he does. He definitely does.
He definitely makes it as a batsman. I think he didn't show it as much as we're used to, but he's automatic pick when on form. So regardless of whether he bowls.
The only other change that I would have had, the only other change that I could think of, and they sort of went in wedded to this idea that we're going to play all the big guys, KL Rahul, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, they have to play. The only change I would have made was, if you're banking on playing Sky at 4 or 5, you then cannot have people like, you can't have 3 of the same, basically. The problem that we had was, for me, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli and KL Rahul are more or less very similar in terms of the way they approach T20 cricket. One of them had to come out and you had to put Ishan Kishan into open. Now, I can't see you dropping Rohit Sharma. You can't drop Virat Kohli. That left one choice and they didn't do it.
But I don't think you would drop KL Rahul either, because I think of those 3 batsmen, KL Rahul is the only one who's capable of starting quickly. He doesn't do it for Punjab because, let's not get into how bad a T20 team that Punjab
But that's the whole problem with the IPL and the way they picked this team was that they picked it.
But here's the thing, we can get into that later. But I think when you're talking about specifically KL Rahul, of the 3 of them, he's the only one who has a decent strike rate first up in the power play. He's the only one who goes hard, because it's not, with his approach for India and his approach for Punjab are 2 very different things. He goes slow for Punjab because he doesn't trust the rest of his batting lineup to be able to carry on if he gets out. When he plays for India, most of the time he does start quickly. We've seen him, basically we saw it happen in, let's not talk about the Pakistan match because he got out early. And he got out going for a big shot against New Zealand, and then the rest of the games he did exactly what you expect him to do in this side. I think a lot of these players do better for India than they do for the sides, for the IPL sides, because they've got captaincy and responsibility and all of that. But I don't think that's why you would drop KL Rahul, because I think if anything, KL Rahul is like the one nailed on pick you would have in the opening side and amongst the openers, and then you have to figure out whether you can really play Rohit and Kohli together.
Yeah, interesting now that with that gone and going into the New Zealand series, Kohli's not going to be there. So it'll be interesting to see how they manage that.
Yeah, Kohli's getting rested for that.
Yeah, Kohli's getting rested for that series. So it'll be interesting to see how they progress. I think it just needs a hard reset as to the type of T20 cricket you want to play. Also, I think the selectors tend to look far too much into the IPL where they really should.
But I think when it comes to T20 form, there's nothing else to look into for Indian cricketers.
But you're not looking at T20 form here. Look at what David Warner's done. T20 form can be damned.
Yeah, but then you're effectively saying pick guys on reputation. Because let's face it, Warner was picked on reputation.
So pick guys on reputation. Nobody's saying no. You're good
But
in
in which-
international.
That's
Stop.
basically what West Indies did. West Indies picked their entire team on reputation.
Yeah.
In which case, why would you drop anyone from the Indian side? Most of them get in by reputation. Kohli gets in on reputation. Rohit gets on reputation. Rahul gets in on reputation. Pant, Pandya, all of whom haven't performed great recently in T20 cricket. All of them walk into the side on reputation.
I know, but that's my entire point is, could you pull, okay, playing IPL cricket is one thing. Playing international attacks is a whole other story.
But what other yardstick do you have?
But that's, my point is that, I'm not saying, my entire point is don't pick just based on the IPL. You have to look at it based on reputation and performance, obviously, but not just based on that.
Even the reputations largely come from IPL performances because Indian players played very little other cricket, T20 cricket outside of the IPL. It's the IPL and it's international series, and international series don't happen as often. They're also very one-off. It's very hard to make judgment calls. Like the last international series India played was the England series, which happened months ago. How are you going to make a T20 select a T20 squad in October based on what happened in a series in March?
On a very similar note, Australia have ended up winning the tournament. The only people that have played T20 cricket for them are the people that have played the IPL. That's it. Everyone else has been on vacation.
Exactly. And in some cases, like for example, Josh Hazelwood, he very clearly said, playing in the IPL helped. Cummins said the IPL lessons helped.
So how come all of this, then let's get back to the weirdest point of all of this. How come playing in the IPL helps all the bloody foreign players? Our players should come and do fuck all in the tournament.
Good question.
Riddle me this then. Josh Hazelwood has come in, become the best T20 bowler in the world. And our fucking players have gone out there and shat the bed like fucking Sarfraz 2 years ago.
SP sad. SP sad.
Kuch bhi. Honestly.
I don't think there's a solution to this because I don't think India is going to start playing a lot more T20 international cricket. I just don't think a lot of there's a limit between now and
there is a bit of an alternative solution.
Which is what?
We're the only country that does not send players to play outside T20 leagues.
In theory, I completely agree with you that let's let our players play outside. But we play too much international cricket. We don't have time for.
That's what I'm trying to say. My point is that a lot of our players are multi-format players. Okay, that's just the way our cricket is because we play so much of it. We have a lot of multi-format players. Now, you look at the team that. For example, Australia had. Most of those guys played only limited overs cricket. I think the only 2 or 3 other than the bowlers that played 3 formats were David Warner, Steve Smith, and those are the only 2 from the batsmen. Everybody else was only a limited overs player.
And Matthew Wade. Yeah.
Don't forget Matthew Wade. Come on.
Don't
forget Matthew Wade.
We have bonus question for all of you viewers about Matthew Wade at the end of the show. Please wait for that. But yeah, that's my point. I see the bowling for them because those are all multi-format cricketers. But you look at they have basically limited over specialists in Finch, Stoinis, Maxwell, Zampa.
Yeah, Finch has been test match opener recently.
Finch was basically test match opener because they had no one else. When they found somebody else, they've decided to ditch it.
Fair enough. They do have specialists, but in that sense, I think at the moment, even India do have specialists. It's just that not all of them, some of them have been drafted into the test side recently. KL Rahul had been discarded from test cricket largely. He would tour, but he would never play in the 11. But then injuries happened, he caught it. Bhuvi hasn't played test cricket for years now. largely thanks to injuries, but he still shows up for the IPL because.
No, absolutely. I agree.
I agree with you that you need more T20 specialists. I just don't think that.
No, so no. 1 minute. My whole point is you're being this fucking.
India
You're
needs
being,
more T20 specialists.
you're being this fucking negative energy, and everything I'm saying you're countering by saying there's no solution. What is the solution? You give me a solution.
It's not about countering and being negative in energy. I'm just saying, the suggestions you're making are just not going to work.
No, but Adi, are you saying India needs more T20 specialists?
Yeah, I think India does need more T20 specialists. It's just I don't know how you get it, because when it comes down to it, I don't think we're going to if what you're suggesting is let's have a bunch of players who don't play in the test side or the one-day side, let them go around freelancing for T20 leagues all across the world. I somehow just don't see the Indian selectors then coming together right before the World Cup and saying, all right, we're not picking the guys who we've been formats because someone played well in the Caribbean Premier League or Pakistan. Sorry, we're never sending any cricketers to the PSL. We know that.
No, I mean, I think the majority of the players from India, if you run 3D11, I mean, they could make most of the international playing 11s in T20. It's just a matter of the combinations. I mean, like finding a spot for Ishan, Kishan, Sky, all the different. I think it's just a matter of the combinations. I don't think it's a lack of personnel. It's just finding the right combinations.
We are missing one very key ingredient though, and it's been noticeable since since Bumrah's basically stopped bowling in the power play. The lack of power play wickets for our bowlers has been stark. And I mean, not Mitchell Stark, stark.
We need bowling depth in T20 cricket the way we've built it up in Test cricket. I think there are some names to now monitor. People like obviously in the last tournament, Harshal Patel and Avesh Khan came good. Some of the younger players who looked exciting a few years ago haven't really taken the next step. People like Mavi and Shivam Mavi and Kamlesh Nagarkoti, and also whether they can take that step again is a different story.
You guys are scaring me, dude. If you guys are saying that India doesn't have enough depth in personnel to make to get the right T20 team, you guys are really scaring me, because like you just mentioned, I mean, you run through all of the IPL teams. There's so many batsmen who could possibly make it. Rituraj, Gaikwad, just leaving out this 11 that recently played in the World Cup. If you guys complain about a lack of personnel, then what's the situation for West Indies? I mean, no.
I mean, look,
I honestly think you guys get it slightly wrong. It's not necessarily a lack of the players, but it's more, like I mentioned, just didn't get the combinations right. If you pick, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with West Indies. I don't think it's a lack of personnel. I think we have a really good 11 who could have done a lot better in the World Cup. If we had started with the guys like Jason Holder, Akil Hussain, like I mentioned, should have been there from the first game, and things like that. I just think it would have been a big difference in the outcome, right? So I think it's very similar. It's not that you guys don't have the players. It's just finding the right 11. You mentioned Rohit has to play based on his repetition, KL repetition, VK on his repetition, but they're all similar batsmen. Yeah, you gotta try and switch that up, but how you can break up those big names, that I guess that's one of the biggest problems when you have such big players.
I think that's where the problem comes, and I think that's where people are a little hesitant to make big decisions.
I'll tell you, the New Zealand series with VK not there, it might actually be a lot easier. That one spot is just taken care of. You get one of those aggressive batsmen, you just throw them in like Ishan Kishan, you throw him in there, and he just breaks up that, same style of play. He had something different. It actually might be a good thing,
Remember, there's less than a year for the next World Cup, so it could be. In hindsight, you're looking at it and thinking that, okay, there's a lot of T20 cricket that we're going to be playing. So maybe it's not the worst thing in the world if you want to win a global tournament.
I would like a series. We haven't gone all the way in this particular selection, but I would like a series where we select players who just aren't involved, like just exploring our depth basically. So that if
No, but did you not do that recently? Did you not do that recently against Sri Lanka? I mean,
yeah, but it's a different.
That was a second string squad as opposed to being exploring depth, because that was basically a squad that you had while the test team. And again, you're looking at multi-format players.
Yeah.
Okay, so very quickly, exploring your depth with the current crop of players, what would your 11 look like? Very, very quickly. So you're looking at what, like keeping some of them like Rohit, KL,
So I know he's really wedded to KL opening. I'm not so much, because I don't think he's as explosive as Devrat makes him out to be.
I mean,
okay, fine. I just trying to understand what you mean by exploring your depth. Like you guys had a complete second string team playing against Sri Lanka, which is a completely different 11. Which included Ishan Kishan, it included Surya Kumar, it included Shikhar. I mean, I thought that was exploring your depth. But what do you mean by that? Like, what are you looking for?
I mean,
you wanted a series before that where you do what? Pick a team.
And against top opposition on good pitches, let's put Prithvi Shaw in as opener. Let's have Gaikwad playing. Everyone. This is going by name and potential, but Umran Malik is bowling like crazy quick. Throw him in the deep end. See if he performs. If he doesn't, then he'll have an IPL at the end of it to get to sort of train and work. I think, yeah. So Umran Malik, who's obviously now got this getting this reputation just because of his speeds. Throw him in the deep end, see if how well he does against international batting attacks. People like Harshal Patel, Avesh Khan should get a look in. Harshal Patel is an interesting one because he actually in domestic T20 he's been opening the batting as well. He kind of has this Sunil Narayan sort of thing where he's not great against pace, but he murders spin bowling. So and that sort of
So
I'm not sure it'll work against proper pace.
Will you put together an entire team with those guys to go on a big international tour?
I'd love to. I think that's the best way to develop depth for India, given all the other issues that we have. We don't, mainly the fact that we play way too much international cricket and that we don't let our players play in other domestic tournaments, franchise tournaments. I think that's the best way to do it, because I think a lot of the players that we have currently, you kind of know what you're getting, whether it's good or bad. Even people like Hardik and Rishabh Pant, where these are the, your star players that you're thinking about, but you know what you're getting. You want them to be informed, but you're not going to learn anything new about them anymore. So I think in some of these tournaments, in some of these tours or series, I would definitely go with a really experimental side and see who does well against international quality bowling and batting attacks.
Just to finish off on that, you think it would be worth some of these sort of fringe players getting basically getting gigs as T20 freelancers?
I think it'd be worth it for sure. So let me clarify. When I said that that's not a realistic solution, I don't disagree with the idea. I just don't see the BCCI doing. But
Agreed.
If we get to that stage, then absolutely.
Yeah,
we should.
Yeah.
They
might just, because you look at somebody like Liam Livingston, for example, who's come straight out of playing all of these T20 leagues.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what a player he's turned out for them. Anyway, so that's our bit on India. We'll just quickly brief everybody in case you're watching. First of all, none of us thought Australia would win this tournament. Right?
I'm not sure Australians thought Australia were winning this tournament.
Nobody thought Australia were winning this tournament. We Cricket had a pod out about 3 weeks ago that says why Australia aren't winning this tournament. Guess what happened? I swear to God, check Twitter. If you don't believe me, I'm putting it up.
Good on Aaron Finch to admit that he got lucky.
That's one. Two, David Warner, bloody hell.
And even he had a poor start to the tournament. Thank you, West Indies, for.
Yeah, I know. Thank you, West Indies.
and then he obviously showed up for the semi-final and final. But He's
What-
always been a good T20 batsman. He's just he had an awful IPL with Hyderabad.
Also, where did Mitchell Marsh suddenly reappear from?
Who knows? Marsh, I think, had been playing fairly well in the Big Bash. Or had played fairly well in the Big Bash, but
Just so you know, we all know that the Big Bash is the shittest out of all the T20 leagues. Even shitter than the BPL.
ooh, that's a tough one. I'm not sure if it's worse. Than
Okay,
Not
okay,
that bad,
okay.
not that
I take
bad,
that.
not
I
that
take.
bad.
I take that back. I take that one back. Maybe not that shit, but it's still shit. But yeah.
I know we
They-
coming to the end. I just want you guys get ready to rally, right? West Indies versus Sri Lanka. West Indies versus Sri Lanka, 2 tests coming up soon, right? Get ready.
We will have him on again to discuss the test squads for both those test series coming up.
I'm interested in seeing how John Campbell does in Sri Lanka.
Maybe I shouldn't have brought this topic up.
No, John Campbell has been dropped. I don't know if we brought this up earlier or not, but he has been dropped.
Okay, last couple of things on the T20 before we move on.
Adam Zampa, by the way, has a good claim to be amongst. I mean, I think if you're looking at top T20 spinners, he's easily in the top 3 or 4.
He's been a
Definitely.
great limited over spinner for a long time.
Yeah.
But I think the final hinged on how Australia started and the way Marsh and Warner basically took down Ish Sodhi was unreal.
Yeah.
But that was the game, basically. They're right there.
Yeah.
Because they'd already gotten stuck into Saudi and Adam Mill. And then that was pretty much the game.
But New Zealand were also, I think, 10-15 runs short. And that comes down to Martin Guptill's innings just being a very poor one in the circumstances.
See, the New Zealanders are good people. So they didn't put Martin Guptill back in test gear. West Indians had no such qualms about doing that to Leonard Simmons. Also, yeah, that's pretty much the tournament. So, on that very happy note, Ian, you will be glad to know that it is time to move on to my favorite segment of the evening. Do you know what it is? What is it? What is it? What is it? Do you know what it is?
Tell me, please, the No Ball Award.
It is! Yes, it is! It is the No Balls Cricket Awards.
Let's go.
There's one retroactive one we have to give because we somehow completely missed out on this. But Mohammad Hafiz for that ball that bounced twice to Warner.
Oh, yeah.
That should be the winner. That should be the winner right there.
So that's one award. Award number 2, I really, really, really want to give it to David Warner just for breaking Adi's heart.
I'm not sure if there's anything that's happened hilarious or dramatic in the last 3 days that we can give out awards for.
Yeah, really not much has happened in the last 3 days. Hafiz wins our award retroactively.
Hafiz wins for the best ball.
At least he wins something. At least he won something.
Also,
Hafiz wins the award.
we do have another winner. His name is Dr. Ian Jagan for just literally
Finally coming onto the pod.
for fucking appearing. So congratulations, Ian. You've won an award. Now the only panel member not to have won an award is sitting in New York.
To be fair, you only won because I was being particularly nice to you last week because you got COVID. So
Hey, my tweet was epic. You said it yourself.
Your tweet was genius. I agree.
There we go. Good man. Right.
How are COVID symptoms doing? Are
Well-
Perez's helping or not?
You've been able to listen to the cough through this entire episode.
Do more of Florentino Perez's drugs. That's all I can say.
That's all we can say.
Funny enough, the last time I was on the pod, I was in isolation also.
That's why he's on the pod, because somebody is in isolation.
All right, so
Support,
I'm
dude, support,
definitely I think that I'm staying away from the pod for a while now, so just to keep my chances of getting COVID down.
You're the only one left. On that
No.
very happy, slightly somber, weird note, it is time to end.
Happy it seems.
On that note, yeah.
It is time to end.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Shout out to our sorry, go on.
I'll just congratulate Australia with a nice Shui.
Oh my God! Of course, they. Who is the Shui Award? Australia?
Obviously, you can win it. It's a very awesome thing to do.
Aussie.
So here's what we need, Ian. Firstly, congratulations to Adam for winning yet another fantasy tournament. But secondly, now when you guys meet up in Guyana to celebrate with whatever drinks or whatever you're doing, you got to make him do a shui.
You got to make him do Shui.
Shui loaded, yeah.
Shui loaded. On that very, I don't know, fantastic
Bizarre.
note.
Yes.
Fantastic.
On that very fantastic note, it is time to end. Thank you very much for watching. If you are watching us on YouTube, please remember to like, share, subscribe, click on the bell icon, which is floating somewhere amongst the 3 floating heads. Don't do Florentino Perez's drugs. Don't get COVID. Please say cheese because he's finally back on. Please say it. Please say it.
You he needs a packet of his cheese crackers, whatever they were.
Next time.
Do some shoeys and just be
Yes.
happy with life. If
Yes.
you are listening to us on our audio platforms, my colleague who is very
Yes.
upset with life will fill you in.
Yes, you should listen and follow us on Spotify, on Apple, on Pocket Cast, Podcast Addict, and Anchor. Don't follow us on Google Podcasts. That would be you. I mean, you can just go listen to Alex Hartley and Kate Cross instead. We have not heard back from.
We have not
Kate.
heard back from her, by the way.
SP, I think that just means you've been rejected. Sorry.
It's fine. I found her on
Not the
Bumble.
first time. Not the first time.
It's fine. I did the important bit. Faith was not in my hands.
Cheers, guys. Nice being
Cheers.
back.
Thanks for watching and make sure you do lots of shoeys.
See you guys.
Come on, Aussie, come on.